Good afternoon, chicos and chicas. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel one more time. Today, I'm going to talk about something kind of boring. If you don't want to talk about my plants, then you can go ahead and click off. But today, that's literally all I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about some of my plants and what I use to take care of them, how I've made more plants out of that plant, and what they're doing right now. Because I recently bought a Monstera and it's got so many baby roots, so many roots. And I also have like a baby avocado that's getting pretty tall and his roots look super gnarly. And then another avocado that just started to root and its roots like this big. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about what I did. And I think I have a perfect example. If y'all see smoke, it's because I have incense, okay? Like nothing bad is happening. There's no aliens. Because earlier I saw a puff of smoke over here and I was like, aliens, ghosts, and demons. But it's my incense, okay? And then all of my snacks. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, obviously comment. Let me know what kind of videos you want to watch, but let's just get into it because otherwise I'm just going to ramble on forever. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a more detailed video on avocados if you guys want to see that. But basically what I did is I went to the store, I made some tacos, I used the avocado pit, I took off the skin off of it and I went ahead and left it in a napkin, moist napkin in a Ziploc baggie, and I left it in there for literally 4 weeks. 4 weeks, okay? It's gonna start to like pop out a little root. Ignore it, okay? Just leave it there. You wanna leave it on your windowsill or somewhere where it's gonna be kind of warm and it's gonna get some sun, okay? I've seen videos where people just, you're like, oh, throw them in a cabinet and forget about it and you'll have some. Like, no, that's not gonna work. I've tried it, believe me. I forget about it and like months later I end up like trying to find a smell in my cabinet. Okay, but let me go ahead and show you these plants. The first one I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Oh, the glare's not letting you. So if I just back up, I back up. If y'all wanna help me out and how to freaking do this a little bit better, that'd be great. But for right now, what if I just turn off the light? I mean, I guess that's a little bit better. Y'all can see the roots. Look at this gnarly like roots system that it's got going on. This is the baby one that I have, and it took a while for it to start rooting, but basically what I did is once the root was like about that far off of the pit, it's got to be like an inch off of the pit, I took it out of the bag and I placed it in this bottle with water in it. The water has to reach the top of the root, but the water has to reach I don't know how to talk. The water has to reach the top of the root, but you cannot submerge the pit. Otherwise, it'll start to mold and it'll get nasty. And you see how like the crack is like right there? I tried to put the crack right where the seal of the bottle was. That way there's some air ventilation in there. Otherwise, you're gonna get mold and it's just gonna die. This big guy I've had for, I wanna say 4 months. They grow really fast depending on how much sun you give it. Like, look at this. It's huge. Look how gnarly they look. Those are some grapes that are drawn on there. Look at that. Look how spooky. I just think they look so cool. And then the pit is already split. Like it's two pieces. Let me see. It's two completely different pieces. And I think it should fall off soon. I'm trying my hardest not to like pull it apart because I'm very impatient. But look at that. It just keeps going and going and it keeps going. Here's some leaves. Right now it's looking a little sad. I think it's time for me to cut the leaves off. So basically what you want to do is you're going to have to wait for it to start splitting off. And once it does split, you're going to want to cut them. Once you cut them, it'll start branching off a little bit. But I just love him so much and I don't want to do anything to him that might harm him. So I'm not going to do it now because right now we're in November and that's like kind of the wintering months, whatever, the colder months. And avocados do a lot better in the hot months. So I'm just going to like see how long I can keep this alive during the winter. And eventually when it's summer, I'm going to have to go ahead and cut it. You know, what is wrong with me today? When spring rolls around, I can go ahead and cut it that way. You know, it's the blooming seasons for them and see how well it's going to do. But yeah, this is my avocado. Ain't it big? Look at that. This is my hand compared to it. If y'all didn't realize how big this bad boy was. These leaves are a little bit baby, but they were like the first leaves that he put out. Look at these big leaves it's putting out now. Ain't that wild? So pretty. Some girls like flowers. And I went to go get this from outside. I had this sitting outside of my patio where it gets direct sunlight, okay? And it's in this bag. As you can see, like the bag is all like, I just opened it right now, but it's all wet and stuff. Like it's pretty damp in there because avocados need a lot of water. And I had this just rolled up in some napkin. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna put it back once I'm done here. But so as you can see, it's already cracked open. If I can try to like show you, that's the root down here, and it's pretty long, but it hasn't poked out just quite yet. And then right there is the stem. So it's already doing something, you know what I mean? But I don't want to like take it out of its little greenhouse environment until it's like big enough to actually put somewhere, especially right now that it's the colder months. I don't know if it'll like damage it at all. It's looking pretty healthy. That like stem is actually pretty thick. Oh, she's thick. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. It's pretty cool. But yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like once you take off the, because the pit is usually like brown, dark, like what is it? Jeez, like a dark brown. Let me wrap that back up in there. But once you take the skin off of the pit, it'll look like that. I tried doing the same thing for like a mango, and I did grow one for like a little bit, but I guess the freeze got here, and when I went outside like 2 days after, because I was like, oh, it's not gonna die, it's in a greenhouse. I left it in like a greenhouse, and so basically like I got this, it rooted, I put it in a pot with soil and some water, and then I covered it with clear wrap, and I put a bunch of layers, and I like, what is wrong with me today? Tied the cling wrap around the pot so that it would be sealed and so that all the moisture would stay in there. And it grew for like a little bit. I ended up poking a little hole so the stem would come out, and it died because of the cold. So I should have just left it in. I should have just left it in there. Why did I do that? Or I should have brought it inside. But it's not, it's room temperature in here. You know what I mean? I was afraid I was gonna die, but the cold got to it first. But yeah, super, super easy. Believe me, I kill flowers, okay? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, wow, I'm the best at plants. Listen to everything I have to say. Like, no, I kill flowers. The one thing that's keeping these alive is that I put like 2 or 3 of those like smart release fertilizer pills. I'll put plant food in there and water, and I change the water every single Friday. I know you're supposed to change it like more often, but I just try not to like really move them around too much. Little babies, you know what I mean? They like being put in one spot, and like you don't move them. Leave them there. Okay, let them grow as much as they can right there, and don't move them. And let me go ahead and show you the actual light system that I have for them, because I have a lot of grow lights in here, but I mean, they're right next to some really bright windows, but I have some grow lights. Let me see if I can turn this around. The avocado usually sits right there, and then another one down here. They both have grow lights on those shelves. There's a grow light aimed right at this. I'll talk about this guy later. And then I have this like giant grow light tentacle arm thing, and then of course 2 big windows. The corner looks really, really dark, but the grow lights on the shelves and the tentacle arm grow light are set to 12 hours every single day. So the plants get enough light, okay? It's full spectrum. They're next to the windows during the day, open, you know, with the grow lights off. But right now it's literally like 6:30, and for some reason it's been dark for like 2 hours already. And of course that like purple grow light is on all of the time. I only turn it off like when I'm going to bed, and I turn it back on when I come back home from lunch, which is around noon. No, when I'm leaving for lunch, which is noon. And so that light is on like literally all day. Like those cactuses that are in there, I just placed in that tank. So succulents, not cactuses. I just placed in that tank, so I just need them to get very well rooted. I mean, I haven't really watered it too much. I've watered it like very little. For the last 2 weeks, I have not messed with it, but there's already some growth, which lets me know that there's gonna be some rootage. I know I shouldn't have done that in November, but I'm hoping that since it's a slow growing months right now for them, that it's just gonna like stay alive, like, you know, long enough for like the spring to like really kick it up. You know what I mean? But that's just an experiment I'm trying, and I hope it doesn't freaking fail, because I have my precious Hoya carrii in there, the heart-shaped Hoyas, and I really don't hope they die. But I saw someone do it on YouTube, so that makes me think that I can do it too. Let me show y'all my my Monsteras, my monster babies. I'm just gonna stand up and show you, because it's actually a little too heavy for me to carry it in front of the camera. Boy right here, not this one, this is my rubber plant. This bad boy right here is my baby Monstera. I know it's a little dirty. Please don't judge me. I'm doing my best. This bad boy is a tropical plant, obviously, right? I only have to water this guy like once a month. And I know everyone's like, girl, you need to water it more. It's in a holder pot, okay? So it holds a lot of water. Plus it's inside. Plus it's literally November, okay? So usually what I do is, look at that. That's already some growth. Oh, that makes me so happy. Grow, baby. spread consume my life, please. What I usually do, excuse me, ma'am, can you move, please? Okay, let me go around. Oh, hold on, there's a perfect spot right here. So what I normally do is these branches that are right here, I'll go ahead and I'll cut right underneath one of these little bubbly things, which is called a node. Okay, I did my research. I YouTubed like 3 videos, all right? So I'll usually like cut like right under here. There's already like a big air root right there, so I'll cut right there. You know, as long as there's like a leaf for it to get, you know, some sun or eat some sun, it'll be able to grow. There's another root right there. I could cut right underneath that, and it's already got some stems, some roots for it to grow. What I did the other day, like weeks ago, these cuttings right here, which have already put out some growth. Hello. These cuttings have been growing. Let me move my stuff. Oh, excuse me. Violence. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? And you can see down there, I have my Smart Release fertilizer. They're doing fantastic. This is kind of just grime. I'm not going to take them completely out of this vase. So what I do is I just grab it, I tilt them, I hold them from the root, from the stem, the root. And I tilt this and take out all the water, and then I put fresh water in there. You have to change the water out like every Friday. You don't have to change it out all the time. Not all the time, okay? It's got smart fertilizer in there. It's not gonna die. Usually you have to change the water every day if it's going stale. You know the water is going stale. Water's going stale if the plants start to yellow or if you start seeing black on it, which I did. Let me see if I can show you. You see that? This little pieces of black right there? I just crunched them off. Okay. Lessons were learned, mistakes were made, right? But now it's flourishing. It's actually putting out new growth. All of the plants are actually putting out babies. That right there is a baby that came out. It did not exist when I had cut it and put it into the vase. There's another one growing somewhere on this side. I had seen it. I don't know where it is. 1 second. Am I blind? Did I move it? Or is that the baby? Oh yeah, that's the baby. This one is the first baby that came out. So there's several babies. And then there's this one back here, which also came out after it had already been sitting in water for some time. So, I mean, they'll grow pretty quickly. Look at that. Takes up that whole space. And they look fantastic. Just like you have to give it time to germinate for the avocado, putting it in that Ziploc bag and leaving it in like a moisture greenhouse area. You kind of have to give the Monstera plant a time to callus, which is a word that a lot of people on YouTube have been using. That's why I'm using that word. Again, I'm not an expert. If y'all want to find out more, YouTube it yourself. You know what I mean? This is just my knowledge that I've accumulated from like the 3 hours that I spent on YouTube, you know? So you have to let it sit there and dry. I let it sit in a vase because, first of all, I thought the vase was really nice for all of these Monsteras. But then I tried putting water in it. I realized it's a decorational vase. All of the water spilling everywhere. I made a mess. So I let the Monstera sit there for like 2-3 days. And then I realized some of them were kind of like doing this thing where they curl on the edges. And so I was like, they need water. So that's when I went to the thrift store. No, I went to Goodwill. Hi, babe. Do I look nice?
You're beautiful.
I just saw you staring at me off the corner of my eye, and I enjoyed that. Hello.
Hello.
I went to Goodwill, and I got a bunch of vases because I have no self-control. And so I put, bless you. So I put them in that vase. I put them in water. Again, I let the water get stale. Mistakes were made. I learned my lesson. I had to do my research. I started putting the Smart Release pills in there. They're doing a lot better. Obviously, you saw how much roots they have. I should probably already put them in pots, but I've just been lazy about it. I like looking at them. Like, I think the roots look so cool. Like, I love the plants. Don't get me wrong. I love the leaves. I wish I could do this with flowers because I love flowers, but flowers always die on me. I can't get the formula right. I either overwater or underwater. I don't fertilize it enough, and then like I try fertilizing it, and it's the wrong fertilizer, and it just dies. Or like I put it in too much sun, even though it says full sun. You know, like I have to learn a little bit more. But I just think the roots look so cool in like the vases, especially the avocado. It looks so gnarly. Like imagine that. Imagine you're in the ocean, right? And then like there's like a giant tree that's like off the side of a cliff, and like all of the roots like are connecting to the ground, and you're like this little tiny thing, like a little fishy swimming through the roots. No, just me. All right, I'll be quiet. Also, look at my drink. Oh, it's heavy. Huh? Ain't it pretty? Dang. Talk about sippy. That'll wake you up. It tasted flammable. Oh my god. Where was I? Lost my train of thought. Roots. So yeah, the roots are pretty long. Like you only have to let the roots get about, how much is 3 inches? Wait, how much is my thumb? Like this big. You only have to let the roots get about that big. Like just put your finger up against the screen and match mine, right? Because that's an accurate way to measure. About 3 inches, the roots are ready to be put into a pot. Again, well draining soil, but it has to have some potting soil so that it retains some moisture because these plants have to be wet. They gotta be nice and moist, but you can't let it get root. See what I mean? Okay, so they have to be really moist. You have to water them frequently, but you can't let them sit in water, otherwise they get root rot. So what I do is I let it sit in water, right? And I let it soak up all of the water that it needs, and then I wait. I wait for the roots, not the roots. I wait for the leaves to look like they're so thirsty, like they're just like starting to like crinkle up, or like they're starting to get real droopy. And then I'm like, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I also have a stick, which I have no idea where it is, but I have a stick, like a moistometer. It's basically like this long of a stick, and it's got like a meter on the top, and you stick it in and it'll let you know whether it's dry or it's wet. I bought it because I was killing so many succulents. Succulents are kind of expensive. I was killing so many of them. So I was like, you know what? I got to invest into a little something, something. You know what I mean? I had invested so much money on plants. I was like, I can't let them all die, you know? So I invested in that. Great investment. If y'all get the chance to buy one, y'all need to buy one, because if you're anything like me, you need something to tell you like, girl, water your plants. That rubber plant, recommend. 100% recommend that rubber plant. That's right there. Let me go show you. Her name is Fern. I know she's a ficus, but I'm naming her Fern. So this rubber plant, look how pretty, has put out from here up all that growth within the year that I've had her. I know she looks a little droopy down here. Her leaves are looking a little bit sad. She did have a parasite there for a little bit, but I can let her dry for forever. What I do is I'll stick the meter into the dirt, and the dirt, it'll let me know how far it is wet or how dry it is. It looks pretty dry, and they are drooping a little bit indoors, and she doesn't really receive too much sunlight. I don't water her as often as the ones that I have outside. And I think maybe I'll do a separate video with all my outside plants, because the maintenance they require. I don't even maintain myself that well. It's my favorite plant. I water it every day, and I make sure I fertilize it 3 to 4 times a day, and it gives me all of this growth. Look at these beans. Ooh, fresh pickings this year. Ah! Why are you biting me? You're so mean. Oh, look at this feisty thing. I know, babies. Show your face. Show me your face. So handsome. Look at that. Wow. Amazing. Okay, off with you. I'm going to go ahead and try to do a separate video. If not... excuse me, I just burped. Excuse me. If I don't do a video this coming week, I'll probably do it next month or something. Honestly, the videos that I come up with are spontaneous, off the top of my head, and whatever it is that I feel like doing at the time. So if I don't feel like doing it soon, I probably won't. But I mean, let me know if y'all want to watch that. You know what I mean? This is just me testing the waters as to what I can and can't do, and what kind of interest that I actually have. Plants is one of them. I can talk about it all of the time, but it's like there's so much little tiny nuggets of information in my brain that I don't think I'm like relaying the message correctly. So if y'all have any questions, comment down below, DM me. I literally have my phone in my hand 24/7, so I'll probably reply unless I don't.